So recently, Joe Legowski released a video comparing his Eye Mini to a Foresight GC3, and he demonstrated pretty clearly in his video that the Eye Mini had some kind of issue with spin axis where it was basically had more side spin than the GC3. It started out where he basically said that it was a fade bias, especially with his shorter clubs, wedges, short irons and up. But he did mention later in the video that even when he does hook it, it shows the Eye Mini with even more extreme hook spin. So I actually contacted Joe and asked him what he thought, because I did an Eye Mini versus Foresight GC video about 4 months ago. And I had to go back and see if I saw that bias as well. And what he said was, do it again with the latest firmware and see what happens. So that's what I'm doing today. And in fact, I already did it. I've already filmed it, and we're gonna show you that next. I went through a couple different clubs with both launch monitors side by side. Now, Joe said that he did speak to Uneekor and they're aware of the issue and they're working on it. So if that's the case, that's good news. Just wanna point out again that I am aligning them together as best I possibly can. It's not perfect. I don't think it's ever gonna be perfect trying to align them. It's just not a perfect comparison. But take a look, decide for yourself, and we'll see. Let's try and get some 60-yard shots. So we got 152 with the Mini and negative 315 with the quad. So a draw with the quad and a slight cut with the Mini. Pretty good mishit there. We got 94 with the Mini and 131 with the quad. Pretty close there. Whoops. Okay, 498 with the Mini and 49 with the quad. So pretty much straight shot with the quad and decent fade with the Mini. Carry is pretty close with both of them. So 276 with the Mini, negative 63 with the quad. So far seeing very similar things to what Joe saw with, this is my 58-degree wedge. Just think he was hitting about a 60-yard shot. That was not a good strike. So 130 with the Mini and 344 with the quad. So kind of flip-flop there. I hit that shot fat. So that felt like it should be left. Mini had it left. 384 to the left. 291 with the quad to the left. Launch direction, pretty much spot on from both on that one. 394 right with the Mini. Negative 108 with the quad. So honestly, you can see some of both, right? Mini showing more of a fade, and then there were one or two where they were maybe right on, and a couple where the quad actually showed a little bit more fade spin. Okay, an actual draw with the Mini there, negative 117. Quad had negative 168. About 1 degree of difference with the launch direction. Maybe hit just one more with this and then we'll move on to a mid iron. A lot of draw there with the Mini, negative 549 to negative 128 with the quad. So more of a draw with the Mini than the quad. So I'm gonna keep going, but one of my theories is that the Mini just kind of amplifies whatever side spin there is. And Joe actually even said that later on in his video, where sometimes, even though he was saying it was a fade bias, if he hits a hook, the Mini will make it a massive hook compared to the GC3 that he was testing. And so maybe Joe is a little bit more fade biased than I am, and and maybe I hit more draws, so I see more hooks. But let's just keep going. Let's switch it to, let's go with a 6-iron. Let's just go to a easy 170 and see what happens. In Joe's video, the longer he hit it, the less of a difference there was, I believe is what he saw. Okay. So we got 62 side spin with the Mini, 0 side spin with the Quad. So pretty close, less than 100 difference. That was definitely on the toe. 248 with the Mini, and just 86 with the Quad. Mini showing more of a fade again. That was well struck. Negative 183 with the Mini, negative 98 with the Quad. So that was another thing that I kind of was noticing, I think, in Joe's video, was that kind of the better strikes that he had with less side spin, the difference was less. So again, that kind of maybe supports my theory that it's not necessarily a fade bias, but maybe it just amplifies whichever direction the side spin is. And Joe just happens to naturally have a fade bias with his swing. Again, another toe strike, miss hit, 146 with the Mini and 0 with the Quad. And that felt well struck, but a big push. 580 side spin fade versus 368. You know, my feeling on that was definitely that it was going to leave it out to the right, but it felt solid. It didn't feel like it was going to, you know, necessarily slice as much as the Mini showed. So, yeah, same thing there. And again, just amplified the fade. So Quad at 134, Mini at 306, a little more than double the side spin. And if I'm just going by feel, which, you know, I am not a tour pro by any means, but it felt like I obviously started that one out right, but I actually thought that it was going to maybe draw back just a tad. Wow, okay. Again, both of them showing the fade, Mini just amplifying it. Last one here, I think. Got to straighten this out here. For some reason I get turned around over the ball in here sometimes. Oh, no good. Quite a miss hit. Those are actually relatively close. Negative 760 with the Quad, 824 with the Mini. Got a little bit of time left. Let me do this and we'll go to driver. I mean, that felt very well struck. 178 with the Mini, 111 with the Quad. And again, well struck, less than 200 side spin on both of them, and the difference is less. So it's like the better the shot, the closer that the two are, the more side spin on it, the more it is amplified. Let's switch to driver. We will definitely get some side spin with that today. Okay, negative 976 with the Mini, negative 339 with the Quad. Again, kind of supports my theory that it's not necessarily a bias one way or the other. It might just be amplified in either direction. All over the place. That's what they call a two-way miss. Okay, 467 with the Mini, 590 with the Quad. It's actually more side spin on that one with the Quad. 421 fade with the Mini, 592 fade with the quad. Interesting. So that's 2 in a row where the quad had more spin. There's a draw, negative 449 with the Mini, negative 216 with the quad. So that one back again with the Mini spinning more. Oh no, kind of drop kicked that one. Negative 775 with the Mini, negative 502 with the quad. And some of y'all ask about face impact. I don't know about the other clubs I hit, but on my driver I do have the stickers on here for the quad, and that face data is up here on the screen from the quad. Horizontal impact plus 20, that means out on the toe. Vertical impact negative 6, that means just below center, top to bottom. So definitely a toe shot, but I'm going to end it there. Guys, I kind of don't really know what to make of it. I see what Joe is showing. I think it kind of amplifies things more, but then with the driver, we had some where the quad had higher side spin than the Mini. Really hard to tell kind of what's going on, but as Joe said, a lot of the other data is really spot on. It's the side spin that's really hit or miss. And I've kind of mentioned that my entire time with the Mini, where it just seems like, especially on extreme side spin shots, it is extremely extreme. It's kind of off the planet, more so than you would expect. But then the good shots are pretty close there. So I don't know, I'll leave it up to you to decide. I just wanted to demonstrate these two again and see what you think. Let me know in the comments and we'll see you next time. Thanks.